Hey everyone, I'm the guy, and this is another layout update, and I'm picking up from the previous layout update, which we kind of like did a tear down and rebuild of this corner where the switchback is. And I'm just gonna, glue it up real quick because I need to make sure the train can go up it when I get over to Mustang Creek, because that's what we're actually going to work on today. Now for Mustang Creek, I was happy with it at first, but I didn't like how you could see the track below from the mid-level right here where the middle of it was. So my idea is to basically build the terrain for Mustang Creek, make it more like a valley, and make more sense where a creek would be running through there. Creeks usually find the lowest kind of possible way to go through and everything, and they always sit at the bottom of hills and everything. So I need to build up the sides, and at the same time I need to cover the track with a tunnel, basically with Mustang Creek scenery all along the edge, because the track is incredibly close to the edge and I don't want to like bump it or anything when it's moving. And there's only going to be like a few sections where I actually have tunnels, and this is one of them. So this will be the entrance to the tunnel as it kind of goes through a ravine right after the switchback. And then the tunnel will end, I'll show it later, the tunnel will end all the way maybe about 30 feet as it goes around a hairpin kind of turn on the other side of the layout, basically where this table is. Now I use all the scraps I can, right? Because foam board, extruded foam board is kind of pricey when you buy it in big sheets. So when I make mistakes like right there on that top section, I was like, I don't know why I cut it, but just some quick glue, put it back together, boom, like new. Now I do this tunnel thing, kind of overhang all the way down the edge, and then I decided to put bracing later because I realized like, there's not enough base glued down where the overhang, it was more overhang than the base that I was gluing. So I eventually put bracers up on the edge of it, but I didn't like seal off the entire tunnel because you need to be able to like clean the track. Even though it's covered, it'll still get dirty. From my understanding, it'll still get dirty, dust, especially if you have like those plastic wheels on the train cars and everything. That just takes the dust and crap all up and down the track, right? Eventually we'll get metal wheels, but I put the bracing and I needed it open in case, you never know if something derails or, like I said, you need to clean it. Now, when I was building the scenery for the tunnel and the extra part of Mustang Creek, I wasn't too sure about this like mountain in the middle of this section right here. So I was like, let's just take it down. If it doesn't look right or I don't like it later, I can literally just put it back. That's the great thing about foam, especially if you don't use an adhesive that's like concrete. It's easy to just put the stuff back if you change your mind. Now I decided to move the whole bridge over like a foot because I don't know why I had that curve in the first place. I was literally following the foam, and I'm like, for this, I'm going to kind of have to make the track and then make the foam follow the track, right? Usually tracks will follow the path of least resistance. But in this specific case, I'm like, I'll take some artistic liberties. I kind of want like the lumbermill to be right in this section. And I want the track to come straight. I want less curves because, I don't know. I have plenty of curves on my layout. Now, when I'm doing this, like I had an afterthought, like, I need to make sure I leave room for the creek, right? It's not going to be a big creek. It's going to start up higher. It's going to come down to a waterfall, go through the water wheel on the sawmill, and then as it goes, it's going to get thinner and thinner as it like kind of dries up. So I put some masking tape, right, just in that area so I kind of have enough room for the creek. And then I do the same thing for the entire like tunnel section down the side. And I'm like, I was going to have the tunnel come out right where I was standing right there, but I decided, let's just cover the whole turn as well. That way it feels like when the train comes out, it really went far, right? Like it feels like it kind of went a couple, 100 miles. Oh yeah, when you're using glue, man, next time I'm going to use gloves because this stuff gets everywhere. So when I put the board on this corner, that's kind of where I left it, but I think I'm going to go back and raise it up maybe one more level. I believe it's a 2-inch thick board, basically, not a 1-inch. I'm gonna raise it up another level. Oh, and here's where I make my little bracers, right? I put them just at the joints. It's not like I'm laying my arms on the layout, you know, and there's a lot of weight on it. It's just something so when I put the scenery and plaster and all that, it doesn't sag. But as you can see, there's plenty of room for, you know, the height of the train car. Not no like auto racks or anything like that. I don't think I'm gonna run those. Those probably wouldn't fit. But my hand can fit in there easily to wipe it down or pick up a car that derailed or something like that. Now, when I take another look at everything next to Mustang Creek, right, I used every last scrap of foam board I could and just like patched it in there, and I'm like, this isn't gonna work. So I went and bought some great stuff, and believe me, it's great stuff. You just spray it into the gaps here. It's gap filler, that's what it is. And the brand is great stuff. There's other brands, but it's great. I shouldn't have sprayed as much as I should have because it expands big time. And when it comes out, it looks like, you know, cake batter or something like that. It looks delicious. Don't eat it. There's warnings all over the label. Don't eat it. But you don't have to use as much as I did right here. It really expands out, and it's great stuff. And if you've used this before, you know to like, don't touch this until it's like fully cured. It takes like a full day. It'll look dry. The top will look, you know, hard and everything, but the inside's really soft still. So like this took the longest. I had to let this cure for like a day or two. And I went ahead and like started shaving down some of the chunks that like would expand up, but I was like, yeah, this is taking way too long. I'm just going to use the hot wire knife later when I decide to do all the scenery on Mustang Creek all the way down to the switchback. Oh, look, I guess I did put in the second layer. The whole time I was like, yeah, I don't remember, you know, not putting the second layer in. I actually just looked back at it just now, and I was like, wow, I'm surprised I didn't remember this. Like, I did it the same day I'm editing the video. It's been a long couple days doing this. And the next layout update is actually going to be finishing this, at least putting the base scenery on there, like all the ground texture. Maybe not all the bushes and like the high detail stuff, you know, but I want to do all this, the trimming, the shaping, the sculpting, you know, the plaster work. I want to get the creek bed and all that done. And that's what I'm going to work on the next video. But I decided it's been a while since like I've ran a train. I don't remember running a train around, but let's just run some trains, right? You got to make sure this thing runs right and feels good, especially like where I'm standing too. You can access this little log lumber mill thing from both sides. But if somebody's standing on the other side because they're at one of the other, you know, destinations, you can stand back here over the hill. And I put little marks on the hill too to make sure I don't put like trees sticking up, because when you reach over, right, like the whole reason you do a dry run of operations or whatever when you're working on stuff is so you don't put scenery or buildings that will block your reach to move in and like unhook, you know, the cars or throw the switch or something like that. Also, one more thing, I took the time to come up with these like nice little shots. And if you want to see more of this kind of stuff, just let me know down in the comments. So I'm going to go ahead and shut up now while we enjoy watching the trains. If you've enjoyed watching the content, go ahead and feel free to subscribe. Go ahead and comment with anything you want to say, any tips, because I'm new at this, completely new at this. So I'd like to thank you for watching the video, and this will play for a few more minutes, and I'll see you next time.